In last week's vlog, I mentioned that I, like most of the people I work with, struggle with patterns of codependency. Some of you have asked me to talk more about what that means. So let's take a deeper look at this issue today and its role in affairs. Hi, it's Vicki Falcone, conscious relationship coach, speaker, and author with this week's edition of the Heal from the Affair weekly vlog. As I mentioned last week, on my annual trip back to Colorado, where I stay with my former husband and my children for the holidays, I slipped back into some codependent behaviors. Well, what exactly is codependence and why is it so prevalent in relationships where betrayal has happened? Well, first, would you agree that affairs do not usually happen in healthy relationships? Much like bodies that get the cold or flu, it's probably because unhealthy conditions were present, right? So unhealthy relationships produce a breeding ground for all kinds of dysfunction, including fighting, blaming, lying, criticizing, addictions, abuse, and of course, affairs. Relationships that are codependent can create the perfect breeding ground for infidelity. But just because codependency exists in a relationship does not mean someone is going to cheat. And most relationships have some degree of codependency. But I've seen such a high prevalence of codependency in the women I work with, as well as in my own relationships, that it warrants our attention. So someone who is codependent relies excessively on other people for approval and or a sense of identity. That's important, so let me say it again. Someone who's codependent relies excessively on other people for approval and or a sense of identity. The codependent's thinking and behavior is centered on another person. That can be anyone, a romantic partner, a sibling, or a child. That's not healthy though. In a healthy relationship, I'm centered on me first, and other people's needs come after I take care of myself. One of my mentors says it best. She says, if you are busy focusing on their life, who is there to take care of you? So let's take a look at what are the main symptoms of codependence. There are three. First is codependents have low self-esteem and difficulty loving themselves. Secondly, they struggle to set healthy boundaries in their relationships. And thirdly, they struggle with self-care. So how does someone become codependent in the first place? Like, where does this come from? Well, I'll explain. Codependent people were often raised by parents that either neglected or abused them, or went to the other extreme. They were overprotected and made to feel weak. Sometimes parents create codependent children by leaning too much on their child to get their own needs met. That type of behavior is called engulfing. And so in summary, parents of codependents were at one of two ends of the unhealthy extreme. They either gave too little or they expected too much. Well, my client Vanessa was raised by parents who were mostly kind and loving, but also very neglectful. Vanessa was left alone at an early age, like 10 or 11 years old, to care for her younger sister who was 4 years younger. She made her 3 meals a day and definitely was neglected by her parents and had to be over-responsible for her little sister. So that's a setup for codependency. It's not surprising, you probably won't imagine, to find out that Vanessa, as an adult, is challenged in many given moments in her life to show up and take care of herself. So things like scheduling her yearly physical slips her mind. She had difficulty setting boundaries in relationships. Even eating fruits and vegetables every day became a challenge for her. These are the very things we went to work on to heal. So in a healthy parent-child relationship, though, the parents nurture the child and meet their needs. This is what my whole career in teaching parenting was about. My whole career was about what does it take to create a healthy parent-child dynamic, to raise kids who are the opposite and have high self-esteem, can set boundaries, love, and take care of themselves. So then over time in the ideal relationship, the child adopts and models the behavior of the parents. She cares for and nurtures herself. She values herself and absolutely finds time for herself. So that's a perfect world. The reality is that we have wounded parents who often mean well, but they raise wounded children and codependent adults who become codependent adults. And codependent adults, because they were taught not to value themselves, are likely to partner up with people who don't value them. And boy, is it not valuing to have your partner betray you, right? So the opportunity for Vanessa, as is likely the opportunity for you, was to start to value herself, stop focusing so much on her partner and on her children, and ramp up her practice of self-care. In next week's vlog, I'm going to tell you how we did that. But until then, know this: just your awareness of your unhealthy patterns can start you on the trajectory of healing those patterns. So acknowledge yourself for hanging in here until the end and investing in yourself by watching. And please, until next time, remember this: you are smoking hot.